So with us now, Dr. Ashish Jha, former White House COVID-19 response coordinator. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. I spoke with someone who is experiencing some incredibly severe symptoms today. It was an emotional conversation. I just want to get your reaction, first and foremost, from the New York Times piece.
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for having me here. It was a really important piece, and I think the idea that we are not listening to people who feel like they've been suffering from this vaccine is awful. We absolutely need to be listening to them. And I think you set it up perfectly. Look, these vaccines ended the pandemic. They saved millions of lives, but it doesn't mean that there aren't people who, whether they actually were injured by the vaccines or feel like they were, doesn't mean that we don't take them seriously, and it doesn't mean that we don't understand what's happening with them.
So one of the victims who I spoke with felt as if, yes, that this vaccine did save lives, but at what cost? So what is your response to that?
Yeah, look, I think the cost benefit here is very clear. Look, thousands of Americans were dying every day. And at the height of the pandemic, the vaccines totally turned it around. So there's no question in my mind these vaccines were extremely effective. They were largely very safe. Just always remind people, 90% of American adults got at least one shot. So most Americans have had them. Most Americans have not had side effects. But the people who have, we should identify what's going on with them, and we should figure out how to help them.
Right. Moving forward, I want to talk to you a little bit about, and perhaps you can speak to it, how people are able to get help. Because it says here, as of April, just over 13,000 vaccine injury compensation claims have been filed, but to no avail. Only 19% have been reviewed. Could we do better? What can we do to do better with some of these folks?
Yeah, so in my mind, there are two parts of this. First of all, is we got to speed up reviews of these things. People who have been injured should not have to wait months or years to get an answer. Second is, we have some traditional things we look at. We probably have to expand the definition or think about, are there new conditions that are vaccine injuries that we haven't identified before? This requires research. It requires, what's really a vaccine injury, what's not. We've got to be focused on that as well. I think we just can do a lot better for these folks. It'll also help build confidence in the vaccine system, reminding people that while it's safe for most people, if you are injured, you'll get taken care of.
I think that's sort of my next question is why is it taking so long? Why isn't the government doing better? Why aren't we bringing attention to some of these people who are suffering and saying, we can do better by you, and here is how we can assist you?
Yeah, I worry a little bit that what has happened is we've gotten caught in the sort of politics of this, which is, again, why I loved your beginning of your sentiment. This is not a political piece. Because, as you know, there are a lot of people who've become very anti-vaccine. And so that means that a lot of doctors see these patients and worry that if they acknowledge that person's suffering, that somehow they're becoming anti-vaccine themselves. I take care of people. I remind people it doesn't matter. I'm very pro-vaccines. I got them. Everyone in my family got them. Still, I think we have to acknowledge this. That is not just happening among doctors, it's happening inside the government. We just have to do better.
And that's sort of what I'm worried about. Are we isolating these victims? The gentleman who I spoke with today is not anti-vaccination. I mean, he is someone who has worked in the healthcare industry, but he now feels like he is ostracized and now can't come forward. He's afraid. I mean, people are scared.
Yeah, so there's a problem here. And by the way, we're obviously talking about people who may have been injured by vaccines. A lot of people with long COVID who got COVID and have had symptoms feel often the same way. They go to the doctor's like, this is all in your head. There's a long tradition in medicine of when we as doctors don't understand something, we actually blame the patient and say, it's in your head, it's your fault, this is not real. This has been a problem in medicine forever. We have got to do better as doctors. I always remind myself, there are lots of conditions where we don't know what's going on initially, but we learn over time. That's the approach, that's the humble approach that medicine has to take. And that's the approach that our government has to take as well.
Right. Well, I'm grateful that you joined us tonight. My thoughts and prayers are with the people who are suffering, and perhaps they can find comfort to know that there are others. And I'm grateful for your expertise.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.